Welcome, folks. We're back in the VHS vault. Next to me is the great man, Jason Roy Gaston.
Hello.
I am VHS Jace.
Hello.
And we're getting to the business end of this franchise we've been covering. Well, this franchise universe we've been covering.
I think the business end is the end that it has most business being associated with, yes. And the sad thing is, this isn't even the worst one.
Yeah, well,
But
it goes
we're
to say
getting ahead
something,
of
doesn't it?
ourselves a little
We're
bit.
getting out of
Yeah.
so we've done all the Aliens films, we've done the Predator films to date, of course. To date, this is we're in the end of the first week of the 2025, but at this we're up to date as far as we can go with those two franchises. But they did meet back in 2004, highly anticipated at its time. It was Aliens versus Predator had been in the zeitgeist quite a bit through the 90s, if I remember correctly.
I remember how much we were looking forward to this, and
Yeah, well, that was my question.
that was a nice time to be alive.
Yeah. I think we were hopeful. We felt it gave maybe a bit more vigor to those franchises which had become tired at that point. So, but there were some red flags along the way that none of us really paid attention to and should have. One being the director, Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah.
That should have been a red flag, but wasn't. Yeah, I mean, but besides that, I think we were giddy to go and see it. And, like a lot of schmucks out there, I did see this at the cinema. What about you, Jace?
I saw it at the cinema. I was there opening day because I could not wait. And then I wish I had.
Well, let's just
I'm going to be
the meat
nice
of it.
to this movie, though. I'm going to be nice
You
to
are?
it. I am. I'm going to be
fair
nice
enough.
to it.
I don't know how nice you were with your first initial comment when you said a text to me. Was that? Well, that could be taken either way, couldn't it? Could be a compliment. It could be a.
Hold on. I can't remember. I remember I wrote something and I remember it being clever, but I don't remember what it is. So give me 1 second. Let me see what I said. I said.
Remember how clever you were.
Let's see. Wow, we do a lot of stupid. Here we go. Anderson does have a fetish for temples and monsters, temples with monsters and moving walls and people getting dissected by nets.
Yeah, which is a reference to.
This movie is Resident Evil all over again. Replace the little creepy girl and zombies with the aliens and predators. You got the laser net. You've got even. I swear, isn't that? It's almost the same actor too. Or at least it's an actor who looks almost exactly like the other actor who was chopped up by the net. Paul W.S. Anderson has some very unique fetishes. I don't know what they are, and I don't really want to study them, but they are there.
Well, thing is, Resident Evil was made for a mid-sized budget, and it did really well at the box office. So I reckon, in their desperation, when every other Hollywood director of any worth said no to this project, they finally got around to him and thought, well, if you just remake Resident Evil, I think we've got a box office winner there. So I really think the smacks of director for hire, just make your day, if you know what I'm saying. Just get the shots in camera, call it a day. We'll do it again tomorrow. So it felt very perfunctory in that aspect.
I have to.
So yeah, I don't think this is a great film at all.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not a great film. And there are many reasons for it. However, there are some ideas and certain things in this film that, even on rewatch, I did very much enjoy.
I'm going to say again, I'm going to be nice to it because while this is not a great movie, it's not terrible either. It's very middling, I think is the right word. There were a few times where I was watching it where I was kind of checking my watch, and then there were a few times where I kind of went,
Yeah.
So it's not terrible. It's not great. It's not terrible. And you were talking about red flags. At the time, I really didn't see Paul W.S. Anderson as a red flag because he had directed two movies that I actually really enjoyed. What's
the other one?
Mortal Kombat! I loved Mortal Kombat. The original, not the remake. Yeah. Not Annihilation, just the original. And then it's a cult movie that I really, really enjoy called Event Horizon. I love Event Horizon. I think it's a
That's his best
very
movie.
underappreciated. It's a very
Yeah.
underappreciated horror movie. I mean, yes, it's basically Amityville horror in space, but my
Mm.
gosh, it has got such style to it. I just thought, yes, this man is going to
Yeah.
make Aliens versus Predator cook, and he cooked it like that one crumb in the air fryer that just keeps spinning round and round and you never clean up. That's Alien versus Predator.
The thing is, I will say about him, yes, his only film he's directed well was Event Horizon. Was his films are like junk food, and not
Oh yeah,
high end junk food. They're just like your run of the mill Burger King, McDonald's kind of junk food, because there
yes,
is an element of, to keep going with this analogy, cheese that's over his film. Like he
yeah,
generally in Event Horizon, dude, he's got amazing actors at his disposal.
he does.
In these other films, except for Lance Hendrickson, who's the G, everyone else is maybe beginning at their career, maybe needs to take some better classes on line deliveries, because this film is high on exposition, but super low on plot.
I definitely agree. Now there is one other actor, and I cannot remember his name. Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring it up. Ewan
Oh,
Brenner.
is he
Ewan
the number
Brenner.
one
Yes,
henchman of Lance?
he
Yeah,
he's
he's
the
good too.
he's the look at look at my children. I'm showing you my children because I'm going to die.
Oh, from Train
Look at my
Spotting. From
children.
Train.
I'm gonna die. So I'm sure, and of course a show that we both really watched and we enjoyed very much. Our Flag Means Death. Because whenever I
Yes.
saw him in this movie, I was like, ah, it's the dude who. Oh, I better not say it
And
because
his character
people
had
may have
the
not seen it.
best ending.
It did, yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
without
love that. I
spoiling it.
love the whole thing. I'm not gonna say anything about what happened to him. All I can say is it's brilliant.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, so you got a couple of well-known kind of actors. And what I mean, to get back to a saying low on plot, it's a very simple. We found this thing. We're going to go in. Everybody's going to die except for the main lead. And it plays like a traditional slasher film, which are very. They don't have to be intricate plots, are they? I mean, it's at its core, it's a slasher movie.
Yes, it is. And an interesting fact: Lance Hendrickson joined a very exclusive club when he starred in this movie. He is one of only a handful of actors whose characters have been killed by a Terminator, an Alien, and a Predator.
Yeah.
Tell me who the other person is.
Okay. There's just somebody else that's happened to as well.
Yes, there's one other person.
You got me, dude. You got me. Who is it?
Bill Paxton.
Ah, of
Bill
course,
Paxton
yes.
has been killed
Yes.
by a
Predator
Terminator, a
2,
Predator, and an
Aliens.
Alien.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So it's
Pretty
a club of
fantastic.
two. It's a club of
The
two, and
Club of Two.
unfortunately, Lance is a little lonely in that club right now. R.I.P. Bill. We miss you
Look,
every day.
he's so great to bring in, but I do think it was a miscalculation to have him play Wayland, the OG Wayland, who I'll refer to as over this whole review. I think it was a bit of a mistake, because for anyone who wanted to think about this film as you're watching it, starts to unravel when you start thinking about him playing the head of Wayland. Especially, we're getting into Brett Spiner playing every version of the Sung dynasty from Star Trek, aren't we? We're getting
Yeah.
into that territory.
Well, there's also the I don't really mind it with Wayland because I could understand them making robots that look like Wayland. I can understand that. The part
Mm.
that I had a problem with is that you have this guy who's worth trillions of dollars and he's gonna go on this expedition while he's dying of cancer, and that's all he brings with him is this small army. I would have like brought more. That's just me though.
Yeah, and I think that's what also falls apart with that character is, what are you doing? I mean, his death
Yeah.
scene makes me angry. And I'll
Oh
tell you
yeah.
why his death scene makes me angry. Because he is let go by that predator, basically saying, look, you're riddled with cancer and stuff. You're toast. You're no threat to me. And then out of nowhere, where he could barely stand up before, he decides to flip and just go, don't you dare turn your back, which was so comical, so unwarranted, so out of what we'd seen as that character until the lead up to the scene. It just felt dumb. And I even watching a point, that's the moment in the film where I went, oh, this is pretty cheesy.
It is incredibly cheesy. It was out of character, and I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. I just looked at myself in the monitor, and I realized that
Yeah.
I have the same hairstyle as Chucky. Why didn't you tell me?
You look like you actually now I think of it, you look like you're in a con photo. Like you've all done on cosplay. You've got Chucky going and and there's an alien predator there, they'll get the group shot.
I'm Chucky in the third season whenever he ages.
Yeah. You're in that in between bit before you get super, super old. We're
I
horrible.
remember back in my day, we didn't have no fancy CGI or Mark Hamill. It was just a puppet.
Some of the highlights of this film, and really the whole movie's built around us seeing some of the fight scenes between the aliens and the predators. What were your thoughts of going back and rewatching some of the action in this film?
Okay, so I think this movie delivered in that department. Just watching the aliens and predators throw down and the battle of wits and cunning between the two species, I thought was extremely satisfying. Not to mention some of it was unexpected in many ways, especially in a PG-13 movie. I think they got away with a lot of stuff because predator blood is like basically glow stick fluid. But I thoroughly enjoyed the first showdown, but it wasn't even a showdown. It's basically the first alien that offs a predator in the most unexpected way. I thought that was great, and then there was that gigantic gratuitous fight scene between the predator and the alien where it's all in slow motion and the predator's just throwing the alien up against the wall. I'm
It
watching
looked
it and
cool.
I'm just thinking, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, this, yes. Uh,
Yes.
I enjoy those moments like that. I enjoy
Yeah,
when the aliens
absolutely.
and the predators fight. Anytime there's not a human in this movie, it's great. It's just the
It's
humans come
great.
along, screw everything up. It's like we're the Native Americans, and here comes the white people all to screw everything up. I'm just like, no, just leave us alone. Let us enjoy
If
this.
they made that movie today, you would get a minimalistic aliens v predator and there wouldn't be humans in it. They would do that today. Just because of where
They
the
ha-
franchises are at.
they have the
No reason they
opportunity
can't.
to do it now. There's no reason
Yeah,
why
that's
Disney
true.
couldn't do it now. Disney, do it now.
Do it, do it, do it. We'll forgive
Wouldn't
number
it be
two.
something? Wouldn't it be something if Badlands or the sequel to Prey ended up to be a backdoor Aliens versus Predator movie?
Oh, that would be incredible.
I
I would
wouldn't
be.
even be mad. And what if Disney like doesn't even reveal it in the trailers? They just make you think it's going to be a Predator movie, and then the Predators are like running after the Comanche, and the Comanche are running away, and then the Predators like run past them because the aliens are coming the other way. And I'd be at home just going.
I must admit, we're seeing that Mayan temple flashback or like explanation. That scene with all those aliens running up the temple, amazing. I still love
It
that.
was
That is
great.
definitely a money shot. There's no doubt about it. That's
But
where
you
that
know
would have
what
been
makes me think,
expensive.
though? You know what it makes me think?
Well,
The predators in this movie are very bad hunters. Every single one of them is just bad at their job. I
a
mean,
lot
yeah,
of them die,
they've got
man.
the weapons and everything, but they're all bad. Every single one of them dies because of their own
Yeah, it's the B
flipping
team. It's the
incompetence.
B team.
Yeah, it's the short spaceship that comes
It's
down.
it's it's
Okay,
like
Timmy,
going to
go
some
hunt an
high
alien.
level.
Timmy, there's an alien in there that's chained up. Why don't you go kill it? Yay! I'm going to be good hunter. He gets down
I
there, he
figure
opens up,
these are
there's aliens
like
there.
the.
Uh-oh! We're going to get
I figure
comments
these
about
guys
that,
are
I'm
like the
sorry.
police academy predators, like from the movies. Like they've got their own kind of crew there, like a high tower and a Gutenberg and all that in their
Oh
predator.
yeah, oh
That's why
yeah.
they keep dying. They're incompetent. But I tell you what they do really well is
Do-do.
throughout the entire handling of Predator, here's one uptick I'm going to give Fox, who's been responsible for. They always treat his weaponry and how he fights really well. Even in the Predator we watched, the gadgets and how he fights are pretty cool. And this one, the most unexpected was when the one human who survives, which I can't remember, she's so forgettable. I'm sorry. She's a
Samantha
wonderfully
Latham.
competent actor, but
Samantha Latham, I think is her name. Yeah.
but they get one cool bit where she helps him knock off the other alien. He rips off the alien's skull and makes a shield, and then out of the tail makes a spear. That was badass. Like, you cannot argue how cool that was. That, like, fantastic. And I love all the women are using the acid blood as a way to either explain something, like the dripping on the floor to the shield, to the head of the alien, or to use it as a pen.
Yeah.
To do a marking on his what's the name. He's like a magic marker. I mean, just that was all really good in the film.
Magic that it didn't eat through her cheek, yeah.
Yeah.
I was most surprised by that moment in the film whenever he pulls out the weapon from Crawl and just it's like, where did he get that? Where did he get the blade?
And he got to fire it off a couple of times, which I was really
which is more than Eddington and Crawl got to do.
They got to do that. It just held it up and pointed it, and a big laser shot. Boring.
Come back to Daddy! Daddy needs you! You're in the poster! You've got to be more important than this!
Hey, don't forget to check out our discussion on that film too on the VHS Vault playlist.
Yes, please do. I will put
up.
I will put up the link right here. Unless I didn't do it, and now I just look stupid.
Okay, so we've talked about some good things. We've talked about dumb things. But the ultimate dumb thing is, and it's hard to watch it now because you know what's coming up. But how do they call it? The Predalien?
The Predalien.
Yeah. The concept and the idea.
I groaned in the movie theater.
I groaned when I saw it in the cinema.
God.
I groaned so hard, and I groaned even harder knowing what's coming up.
Yeah.
So
I have to admit, I was ready for the next one because this one is watered down because it's PG-13. The only Alien and Predator movie that's rated PG-13 because they wanted the teenagers to come watch it. Stupid teenagers. But I was excited that they were going to make the next one R, so I just thought, oh, it's got to be better than this one.
Well, unfortunately, we have to talk about that too.
We'll talk about that.
There's an unrated version out there where they added in blood and there's an extra little plot element. I can't remember. They got cut out. But they did on DVD release an unrated cut, so which does make it better.
I'll have to check that out sometime. Interesting.
Yeah, this was in the period where doing R-rated big budget films is a big no-no, Jason. In the 2000s, no way you're allowed to do that. Today you can't, thanks to films like Deadpool and Wolverine and Logan and other R-rated stuff. You can do it now and make a buttload at the box office. But it was box office cancer back then.
It's almost like quality has something to do with how much money a movie will make. It's weird.
Oh, look, every nerd on the planet went to this movie opening weekend. Me being one of them, you being another one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the rest of us all went that weekend because undeniable. So, yeah, the strength of this film overall is the fact that it didn't have any humans. You still didn't need a big plot, and you just would have had an hour and a half of kick-ass action. And that's what we wanted.
Great.
Oh, it would have been phenomenal. Maybe this one or two humans, maybe.
This could have been that nature documentary movie I was telling you about, what I thought would be great, where you just have, like, you don't even see the humans, but you know they're there because they're filming everything. And you just have, like, David Attenborough. Observe here as the male predator makes his way across the trees. And then the alien comes behind me and stabs me in the back with its tongue. Holy God.
You know,
I think that would be amazing.
After watching this film too, it occurred to me, and maybe somebody already made a book about it or tried to do an explanation video though. Culture, they've invested a lot in their culture. I really want to see that developed fully now.
I do
I'm
too.
I'm that interested, and I'm sure somebody's written a book where they're able to connect everything together and make it, yeah, a credible kind of thing. But clearly, class structures. Coming back to the gag of these being pretty stupid predators, I think there's definitely a class hierarchy going on there.
Yeah, you could just get the feeling that these are just the worst predators, and so they're sent to this training ground. Just get
Dun-dun-dun-dun,
off my ship.
dun-dun,
What if
dun-dun-dun.
they don't make it back? Then we don't have to worry about them anymore. Well, what if one of them gets an alien inside
What
them
if
and
they have
comes out
a?
a predalien? Don't be stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
We're not
You know,
going to
for
build,
everything.
another film around that idea. So
For
yeah, I
everything,
mean, like,
though, I do have to hand it to them that at least they don't subtitle the Predator.
uh, I want to subtitle them. If I'm allowed to write them, I would love to subtitle the Predators. I think I pretend they're all Australian and they're very laid back Aussies, so I think that would work. I think it would work. Um, this film, moderately budgeted at $60 million, which at the time, 2004, it's not a huge budget. Went on to make nearly $180 million at the box office, which is a moderate hit by those standards. Enough that they went back and went, well, we got to give them more.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and that kind of leads us into what we're going to be talking about next in this franchise. Thankfully, it's not for a long time then, Jace, it was the franchise killer. It was
Yes, it
known as the
was.
franchise
Rightfully
killer.
so. Anytime a
Rightfully so.
franchise has a movie like the next one, the franchise deserves to die, in my opinion.
Obviously, AVP2 Requiem, because that sounded cool as a title, I suggest. So
Yeah. Uh, Alien versus Predator
I've
versus
not seen it
Alien.
since I first saw it. I've only ever seen that movie once. So I am interested to go back and, you know, put myself through torture. Or I might be surprised and go, you know what? I've seen worse.
I don't think I've seen it since it came out on video because I didn't even see it in
Yeah,
theaters because I was sick
neither did
that
I.
day. But whenever it came out on video, I watched it and I just remember thinking, "Wow, this movie's going out of its way to not show me what I want to see."
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll
absolutely.
we'll see. I don't know. I haven't seen
Yeah,
it
you know
since
what
then,
else this
so
film reminded
maybe.
me of? It
What's
reminded
that?
me of, and that movie I'm just about to mention is far superior, but it had the same kind of MTV vibe that Jason versus Freddy, which also Freddy versus Jason, which came out in the same year, mind you.
Yes.
So you
And
had these
it
versus
had
movies.
it had a very similar fight scene too, because at one point Jason and Freddy just have this throwdown where they're throwing each other
Yeah,
through walls and smashing their heads in with everything. Because I remember watching, because I think Freddy versus Jason came first and then this one came second. Because I remember watching this movie thinking this looks just like the Freddy and Jason Freddy
yeah,
dance, the Freddy and Jason fight. But
yeah.
I know that they didn't copy it from each other because they had already filmed the movie by that point.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting, what do you call it? Duogenesis of a
Yeah,
scene.
because you could have made the argument, oh, clearly it's influenced by Freddy versus Jason because that made a lot of money. It's probably got a similar budget. But you're right. They both were filmed, pretty well at the same time. So, that wasn't a kind of just rip off that concept, but it does feel like that. Maybe it's because that's the template.
My,
And
my
they've
de-
gone with a horror template.
yeah, my camera's shaking because my cat just jumped up on my desk and now she's staring at me. You're not you're not gonna really watch Alien versus Predator Requiem, are you? That movie is ass. Don't do it.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, well,
watches
there you
movies with
go.
me, so that's why she's got an interest.
Mm. Um, You know what I think I'm starting to realize with a lot of these films is because
What's
there's
that?
a rule that you can't really make films under 90 minutes anymore. There seems to be this weird thing of you don't see many 80, 85-minute movies anymore. There was a period in the 80s that you would get those length of movies. This film was 100 minutes long. And if you'd gotten out the extensive amount of exposition, like, and not even good exposition. It's just chitter chatter. Like, same things being repeated, like, over and over again. I don't care about your emotions. Your feelings mean nothing at the moment. Like, we don't care. We didn't sign on for this. We signed on for you to die. So, I reckon if you cut all that out, man, you got a tight, good film here. That's what it needs. I'm not saying cut all the humans out, but give them at least half of the dialogue or half of the screen time, which you couldn't do because then you've got a 15-minute movie. But if you can cut a significant amount out, man, you got a tight film.
I will say, the human scenes worked when there was this element of dark humor about it. Ewan Brenner's character's death, for example, whenever he struggles to get that gun and he shoots the face hugger, and then the camera goes back, and he's got like, there's 15 or 20 eggs, and they all open at the same time, and he's just kind of, I love little moments like that.
The whole thing is the tension of, will he get that gun in time? Can he reach up and grab it? So you've built up this tension, and the moment he does it, and then that great pullback, and he's failed. That's a well shot moment. And like I said in the beginning of the review, is that there are some pretty cool moments in this that still hold up today.
Undoubtedly. Yeah.
I really hate everything after they get up the tunnel. As soon as they get up into the surface level at the end of the film, just don't like any of that.
The boss fight.
Yeah.
Paul W.S. Anderson directs video game movies. The video game movies always have a boss fight at the end.
Yeah, and you're right there, because it is very structured like a video game as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You're going to a lot of different moments, levels. And the whole thing is based on a level, isn't it? It's a game. The whole temple is designed like a video game level.
Yeah. I will say, though, as much as I dislike the ending act of this movie, they did the Queen justice. Because I think that it was a practical Queen and it was a mix of that and CGI. I think they did a really good job. Yeah, they did a spectacular job recreating the Queen. So I got to give this movie credit where credit is due, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, we occasionally say this, and I think it's appropriate for here too. You saw the budget on the screen.
Yes, you did.
You know what I mean? Like, there was certainly a lot of money put into the effects. And for 2004, it was still hit and miss. Yeah, you'd get Spider-Man 2, but then you'd get some movies that weren't quite up to scratch yet with CGI. This film did quite well with this, actually. There are a couple of moments that look really bad, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there's more movies. But overall, there's more moments that look good.
Yeah, but Pred Alien, that's the last time we're ever going to hear about that.
Is it, though?
Why do they keep doing this, dude? Why do they keep trying to interspecies aliens all the time?
Somebody's got a weird fetish. Somebody's got a fetish weirder than Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah, we had it recently with Romulus. We had it in Resurrection. And now we got to get it at the end of this. It's like,
I mean, where did the Predator dogs come from?
That's wrong.
Oh, no.
I just like to think they were puppy. They had dreadlocks, though.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, why?
Somebody got a little freaky at the pound.
Yes, it's very hillbilly-ish sounding now.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was our thoughts on Aliens versus Predator. I'm glad we've put it behind us now, and we can move on to greener, greater. Oh, crap.
Yeah.
We'll be watching AVB 2 next. And the reason we do that, should we make the announcement now, Jason? Do you want to?
Why not? Why not? Because we gotta give our audience hope.
That's a good freaking segue. Go.
Exactly. You want me to tell them? I'll tell them.
Yes, I do. Spill your guts.
So, there is a movie opening this summer that has the hype train not only running, but it's crashing through entire cities at the moment everybody up in the theater. Hi, Battle Cat. Everybody, see, even she's excited. Everybody in the theater is just pumped and ready to go because James Gunn's Superman is just around the corner. And to celebrate the rebirth, the rebirth of Superman in theaters, Jason and I are going to take a look at all of the mainline Superman movies. That is going to be Superman the Motion Picture, Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4, Superman Returns, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Supergirl, and the Legion of Super Pets, because we've got to throw Crypto in there. We're going to be doing that all the way up until the release of James Gunn's Superman. And so I hope that you will come with us because you will believe a man can fly.
I also will say that based on previous discussions, I don't think we're going to agree on all these films as well. So it should be an entertaining thing. And I think it's a great time to go back and have a look at how they did it then and how they did it 10 years ago to where hopefully we're going to go in the future. And yes, Supergirl, I fought it, but then I came to my senses and went, well, if you don't do Supergirl, you're kind of leaving a big hole empty. And it's like the white elephant in the room that's not being addressed. So, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
And no,
that
we're not
people are going
including
to be...
Shazam.
No.
Because there's that cameo at the end of that.
Nor are we doing Black Adam. Sorry, no.
Oh,
I do think that we're going to surprise a lot.
Sorry, for a second there, I thought, but we're doing Batman because she had the Batman silhouette happening.
Doing Catman. I do think that we are going to surprise some people with some opinions because we kind of talked a little bit, and we like some movies that you probably don't, and I hate some things that I know some other people love.
Yeah.
So,
including me. I love those things. So
oh yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
I'm sure.
No, but I'm really excited. On not only to do this, I think it was a great idea. I also think that we end it with James Gunn's Superman Legacy. Like, as far as I'm concerned. Now, hopefully, we end it on a high.
Hopefully so.
This current series. Hopefully.
I can't take any more heartbreak with this franchise, to be perfectly honest. I just can't.
No, there's a sad story about it, and will always remain. And I'm sure we'll talk about it when we get around the Snyder Cut. Is the treatment of Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yes.
The way they treated the character and how it disserviced not only, I think, fans, but also him. You know, he never really he never made a Superman movie. Let's make that clear. He never did. No. So, and that's extremely sad. So, but now again, this new kid looks great.
I heard a take that Brandon Routh's movie wasn't about Superman. It was about Kal-El. Henry Cavill's movie wasn't about Superman. It was about Clark Kent. And I thought, you know what? That's right. It really is.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing. It's all the wonderful thing about this is interpretation. You know, we've seen it with Batman, all the different iterations we're getting, and they're doing it with Superman. But it needs to be successful, Jason, because Superman is the most important character for DC. You can't have a strong cinematic universe without a really great Superman, in my opinion.
I can hear the nerds already. Well, what about Batman? Superman.
Yeah, you need a great Batman too.
Yeah, but let's face it, Superman he's the Boy Scout. He's the shining ray of light in the DC universe. And Batman has had his time in the spotlight too long. We need to give that spotlight back to Superman.
Well, we need Superman to be treated as well as Batman has in the last 20 years.
Yes, we do. And I think James Gunn is on the right track because this is the first Superman suit we've seen since Christopher Reeve, at least in the movies, that doesn't look like it's ashamed to be a Superman suit.
Agreed.
It's got the
Agreed.
bright
And
colors. It's got the little underwear. I'm all on board. As soon as I saw that the little red undies were back on, I was like, yes,
and
yes.
apparently
Because it,
the gentleman that plays Superman, it was him that sold everyone on why he's wearing them again, because they were debating it apparently, and he said, "Well,
yes,
Superman's like he's a figure of hope, and it was very important to him that he doesn't scare people." And he goes, especially children. So, he wanted to make himself look friendly, bright, these bright, bold colors, because it disarms people. And he's kind of right. I like that idea.
I
I
like
like
that
that
too.
Superman is a man of the people, as you should be. Just, I don't get me wrong, I don't mind a bit of emo Superman. We got our share of emo Superman, but I want to see happy, I like my job Superman.
I do too. And hopefully
Yeah.
we've got it. But we're kind of blowing our wad early right now. So
Yeah,
in
we're just giving you a
let's
preview.
see,
We'll be
one,
crapping on about
two,
this for
three.
hours.
I think in 3 weeks we're going to be starting our Superman rewatch. What are we doing next week? Have we even decided?
No, that's why I didn't mention
Oh, it's
anything.
it's your ball. You need to
Is it
figure it
my
out.
ball?
It is your
Oh,
ball. Yes, I did
I
2012. What are you doing?
okay, guys. Next week again, watch to a 1986 classic that I adore. I haven't seen it for years. I don't care if people hate it or love it, but I love it. Flight of the Navigator, folks. We'll join you next week on the VHS Vault for that. He's excited. He's excited. So am I. So next week, guys, join us in the VHS Vault because we're getting in that little spaceship and we're going fast. See you guys.
Compliance.